the target stream went all the way to Russia, and it like froze me up. Anyway, guys, welcome in, welcome back. You should have audio now. Yeah, I could not get the audio to work. You guys should be getting audio. No sound. 5x5 now. All right, we're in. Wow. Yeah, it's like, man, you know they're watching. This is a chess game for damn sure. But we're going to get into some crazy information tonight. Going to show a few clips, and we'll get into that. Right now, we're looking at the Sahara dust layer, and we're going to watch this thing just blow apart. This forming hurricane out here off the coast of Africa just eats it up. When you look over here by Florida, why is the dust not being sucked into this weather machine? Because that's what it is. You know, this dust should be being just sucked in there, killing the storm off, but it's not. The storm is parked. No time in history has a hurricane parked. It's maddening, man. It's like I said, this is a chess game. Now, there's a reason we call. Oh, before I get into that, check this out. Somebody sent me an email. I didn't get to read them all, but I got to this one. Thanks out there, Linda. But what she was saying, she was watching the mainstream media. In fact, I'm going to get into this before I get into the main article on the orbital Hart machine. So here, let me play some clips real quick. There's a reason why we call the mainstream fake news. So here we go. Let me play this first clip. It's really short. And then we're going to play one other clip. But check this out. This is what the mainstream media wants us to believe. So here we go.
The center of Hurricane Hermine right before it made landfall Thursday evening in Florida. You know what you're seeing there in the middle of the eye here? This is the eye of the storm where it's pretty quiet, so you wouldn't expect there's going to be any rain there. This is actually birds. Yeah, birds actually showed up in the middle of this hurricane, as they often do. We saw this with Hurricane Arthur a couple years ago. This is a product that shows you how similarly shaped everything is, where you see the red colors, you got a lot of similar things flying around like rain. All this blue stuff here is, you know, a mixture of birds, maybe some feathers flying around. This product shows you what shape things are, okay? And basically when you see these kind of higher colors here, like the purples and the whites, that's when things are more hamburger shaped rather than, you know, vertically shaped. So think about how birds fly. Right? So they're they would appear more hamburger shaped to the radar. That's why they're showing up like that in there. Very, very interesting stuff.
When we have these earthquakes is the birds. We can see this up there. So what I want to do here, I'm showing you radar here the last couple of hours.
We're not using chemicals fired through rockets like other technologies use. We use a very gentle but powerful technology, launching electromagnetics into the atmosphere to modify the flow of the weather system over the ocean and drawing it into a target. So to try and keep it simple, we establish some kind of link with the weather system, and once we've seen through satellite meteorology that we have that link, we're able to draw that system in incrementally towards the target, such as in this case the Horn of Africa.
Mahendra, you call this project the Global Rain Project. Why the Global Rain Project?
Well, let me just step back. Ever since the beginning of civilization, mankind has diverted rivers on earth to wherever we wanted to practice agriculture. Now we look at the atmosphere. The oceanic, 90% of the rain, more than 90% of the rain falls on the ocean. True. It's only about less than 5% on Earth. So the 90% that is above the oceans, these are fundamentally atmospheric rivers. And just the way we harvested rivers on Earth, we should be harvesting now with new technology the rivers above the oceans and moving them to a target area. Now why is it global? Global because climate is changing. We see the floods that are on, the droughts that are on. So weather is being modified by human activities and by natural phenomena. And today we have developed the technology, and I'm convinced that in 30 years we will be able to confront climate change with technology with which we can modify weather patterns. It's weather modification. Because climate change has two elements. It gets hotter temperature and precipitation changes. So moisture patterns change. Now imagine when we get rain, temperature goes down. So when you think of climate change, which is hotter areas, and that's the challenge we have in sub-Saharan Africa, that it will get hotter. Many areas that produce crops will not be viable. So it is a global phenomena which requires global action, and that is why we are committed to put this in the humanitarian arena to begin with. And it should be governed and utilized at the global level by the global community.
All right, guys, so there you go. They want to harvest the rivers of the sky, and they've been doing it since the early 90s. But I was hoping you guys were watching the fake mainstream news. I mean, how can you believe people that are faking wins? And then I'm going to play a clip of their excuse. Here, listen to the excuse of that CNN clip or the Weather Channel clip. I can't remember that guy's name. But listen to this, and then we're going to get into all the really important information. But we got to put these people in their place.
The channel is now responding to reports that one of their reporters was essentially faking it during his coverage of Hurricane Florence.
Probably seen the video on Facebook as that reporter struggles to keep his balance.
Okay, picking it up here in Wilmington, North Carolina, right at the Intracoastal, and we're in one of these bands. This is about as
So that's Mike Seidel in Wilmington, North Carolina, but as he braces and fights the wind Friday, check out the two guys who seem to walk right by him in the background there with no trouble at all. The video has been shared more than 1 million times on social media. So now a spokesperson for the Weather Channel is defending Seidel, saying it's important to note that the two individuals in the background are walking on concrete while Seidel tries to maintain his footing on wet grass. The spokesperson goes on to say Seidel was exhausted after reporting on air until 1 a.m.
So he didn't have any footing on the grass, is why he's leaning into the fake wind. In fact, the wind is blowing this way. He would be leaning the other way. For one thing, you know, he throws a little hunk of grass up and it blows that way. He's not getting blown over. If you're standing there against the wind, you want to face the wind. These are the people that are pumping out the information on this Dorian that has killed people. And it hacks me off that these guys get paid to lie to the American people. This is war. This is weather war. And I'm going to show you a lot of proof over it. Now, if you guys haven't been with us, I know we got a lot of new people in here, and that's why a lot of times I play these clips. But I went back because I wanted to show that Monday night that they agreed with our forecast from the 16-day forecast. They also said there was no way of tropical development. But by the next morning, they deleted every one of their videos saying that because of the Sahara dust and the high pressures. And then they just come up with these cockamamie excuses of how it is going to form and where it's going and all this crazy. I mean, everything they were saying is contradicting natural processes. It's all lies, man. I mean, I'm going to get into who's doing it, why they're doing it. It's all multifaceted information. Now, back in 2005, the U.S. military wants to own the weather. The U.S. Air Force Defense Meteorological Satellite Program compared lights at night images before and after Hurricane Katrina disaster. It was a 1-2 punch, Katrina and Wilma, along with prediction. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all this. That's just where you could dig all this stuff up on. This is just going to lead us into what I want to talk about. I think I just closed a main article. Man. Anyway, here. This come out back in July 29, 2016. This is coming from Bloomberg. Forget tornadoes. Rain bombs are coming for your town. Climate change is weaponizing the atmosphere. Now, you notice every single storm over America, we're getting rain bomb after rain bomb after rain bomb. So just 3 years ago, they warned us about these rain bombs, and now we're getting them. And the video there that I showed you that they were talking about the electromagnetic rainmaking, That is steering the atmospheric river up in the sky using ground-based radar systems. They actually target the high pressure system and they bust a little hunk of it off and turn it into a spinning low pressure system, which I'm going to get in to the heat and all that madness that goes along with what they're doing using orbital HARP. Now here's another article that come out. Airplane contrails may be creating accidental geoengineering. Man, this is on purpose. You can believe this is water vapor. You can believe this is contrails, but I've been documenting this stuff for 7 years. And I show how this actually helps guide the storms. You'll see every single storm, they are using this technique to put the aluminum particulates and the nanoparticles and the plastic polymers. You know, all their articles are coming out how they're finding all these plastics, nanoparticles in the snow, in ice cores, everywhere. It's in our blood. It's all coming from this. It's not a conspiracy. This is fact. We got, all you got to do is just research it. If you don't think they're cloud seeding the sky, just go to the Texas License Bureau. You can apply for a weather modification license. YouTube their videos. I just showed and highlighted the video from this year back on June 28th about the about all the cloud seeding projects over Texas this year. They admitted to cloud seeding storms that were already thunderstorm warned, but they went ahead and cloud seeded them. This is the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Texas Licensing Bureau. You can go back and find that video on my playlist. Or you can go watch their 2-hour long video. Back in 2008, hurricane hacking. The Department of Homeland Security enters the weather modification business. Now we're over here at Climate Viewer News. Good friend here, Jim Lee, that, man, he's got the best site on weather modification on the planet. He also has weather modification history, where you can find out all the techniques they've been using since the 1800s. I know I've seen a comment there, oh, they were flying planes till 1903. Well, that's right. But they were shooting cannons up into the air trying to affect the storms. They were launching balloons. They were using electricity. You just got to go back and research, man. Before you guys lip off, you should really go check the facts. So right here we have all the patents on water alteration, structure, applications, and methods. We have all the applications right here. You can go back here and look at the Department of Homeland Security Hurricane Modification Workshop. New unconventional concepts, the legal ramifications. Atmospheric heating as a research tool on engineering hurricanes. It's all right here. Just go check out Climate Viewer News. Type in, hell, you could Google search it. Now, I had an interesting email from Linda earlier. And what she was saying is that she usually don't watch the mainstream, but she started watching the mainstream. She was noticing that everybody kept saying, do not venture into the eye of the storm. And, you know, she thought that was a strange statement. And she couldn't understand why they kept saying it. The governor said it, the newscasters were saying it, the police chief. Everyone that goes before the microphone is making the statement, do not venture into the eye of the storm. Well, I'm going to show you here in just a minute why. It's because of the microwave radiation that is raining down to guide the storm. You've seen my thumbnail of the X-37B, which we're going to get into that. And now this is all multifaceted. When they bring a storm in, wherever they want it to hit, it's all multifaceted. It all has to do with economics, putting in the 5G. Look at all these 5G crews setting up to come rolling in after the damage is done. It's not just this. You have the Home Depots, you have the Lowe's, you have all these things that are going on. And yeah, I mean, it's for so many purposes. And now I'm missing an article that I needed. Well, we'll get into it here. Here was an article coming out of the Daily Mail. Hurricane Dorian causes extreme destruction in the Bahamas. 5 people dead, bodies floating. I mean, just bad stuff. And the problem is, this is not a normal storm. And in the wind data, you know, you got to think about this. This was like a tornado, like a 15-mile wide tornado. And I looked at a lot of the damage. And I didn't see, you know, category 5 damage, maybe category 4, but most of the stuff would have been cleared off the map. Now, I went back and I've researched, you know, the damage from tornadoes and did the damage of hurricanes, cyclones, category 5. Now, I covered Hurricane Michael. Hurricane Michael was the same weapon that they used on Dorian. None of it made sense. You go back and watch my videos when we covered Hurricane Michael, and you'll find out that all that stuff was the same technique, same technology, except for now it's a little bit of a kind of micro, like they got it all dialed down, and now they can stop and steer and all that stuff. We'll check the wind data here in a minute. Let me just run that through there. Now, hurricanes don't stop. Not whatsoever at all. But anyway, let me talk a little bit about how ionosphere heating steers hurricanes. Now, hurricanes, when air is warmed over the ocean, rises to meet the cool upper atmosphere. Excuse me. Let me put this on a different scene. Let me put this on the GIF files. And I got 2 more today. Somebody was saying that could be Zoom. No, it's not Zoom. These are the sizes. And actually, we're going to use the 2 hurricanes that are going right now just to prove that these sizes are correct. But let me go ahead and finish what I was thinking about here. Now, the heat turns to kinetic energy, producing a spiral of wind and rain. The greater the temperature differences between top and bottom, and the narrower eye of the hurricane, the faster it blows. Now, heating the tops of the hurricanes by scattering carbon particles or chemicals from aircraft flying above the storms would cause changes in the airflows within the storm. Satellites could also heat the cloud tops by beaming microwaves from space. The unmanned X-37B is such a system. The X-37B was launched into orbit by the Air Force from Cape Canaveral using an Atlas V rocket. It looks like a mini space shuttle, but its purpose was secret until now. The X and the B of the name reveals the true purpose. The X band and the B band stands hold on here. The X and the B stands for X band. The 37 is the index of X band equals M equals 037. X band is a segment of the microwave radio region of the electromagnetic spectrum. The X-37B is therefore an orbiting X-band phased array antenna consisting of thousands of antennae driven by transmit receive TR modules. Now, they're multifunctional circuits that can transmit, receive, and amplify signals while in orbit. It can be maneuvered by the United States military to any part of the globe, whereby it is positioned to heat up the ionosphere above a target area. A second X-37B was launched March 5th, 2011. Now, I could just keep on going on, but, you know, these phased array antennas are based all over the place. I mean, they're everywhere. I show them all the time. Now, we're going to get into, if I get the scene to change here. Give me a second here, guys. My broadcaster's kind of sticking on me here. If I get the scene to change, we'll be back. But, you know, when we're looking at that, yeah, I can't get the damn scene to change. It should change here in a second. And I can see they're buffering us here. Okay, there we go. Now what I did is I went, if we look at the tropical cyclone page, look at all these. We have Hurricane Juliet, Hurricane Dorian. We got 2 invests, another invest out here. We got 2 Tropical Storm Ling Ling. We got Tropical Storm 14, another low pressure. But when I get in here, in fact, let me show you on the worldview map, just right off the bat, the size difference. Here's Hurricane Juliet. Here's Hurricane Dorian. Can you see the size difference? See how this is all kind of flurred out? This is going to turn into a Category 2. Now, this is supposed to be a Category 5, but it's massive, or it's small. And they're spraying into it with the aerosols. They're parking it here to get things set up. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to go up north. I can tell by the aerosols that are being deployed, which is part of the guidance system, where it's eventually going to go. I mean, we can see right here, they're spraying tons of aerosols up here. We'll get into this here in just a little bit, but here, let's jump into... Okay, here's Juliet. So this is what a normal hurricane looks like. Takes out their super jet. Here is Hurricane Dorian. Look, they didn't censor these beams coming out. And I got to thinking about this, and this was made me thought about the X-37B. What we're looking at here, this is the microwave imagery. They're measuring the temperatures, you know, from up in the troposphere. So this is picking these beams up. You know, I wish I could expand this out where we could see where it looks like it emanates. But it's actually up in the troposphere. It's actually up high in altitude. So this thing is coming from a satellite-based weapon. It just seems like it's coming, you know, from a stationary project. We know the ionospheric heaters down to the southwest, the Arecibo phased array, and then you had the Peru phased array. It's down to the south and the west. And, you know, you got a couple super darns and stuff up in North America, but in Hart. But this is coming up in the troposphere. And you can also see the size difference in these. What a normal hurricane looks like and what a manufactured Category 4 to Category 5 is. Hurricane Michael was a Category 5. It did the same thing. It was a wind weapon. And that's what this one is. And they're just keeping it here for some reason. You know, I don't know what the reason is to keep it here. What I can tell you is this is not a natural hurricane whatsoever. No way. Like I said, even at the beginning of this, come Monday night, the meteorologist said there was no way this was going to happen, but it did. The next morning they got the weather plan. You know, Raytheon makes all these applications that we use. In my opinion, they are, you know, the lead people on this. You know, here we are looking at the buoys. Let's go check the buoys. There's a buoy right in the path with the storm where it's parked. You know, the wind field of the super strong winds, it's only 15 miles. This is like a tornado weapon. So let's go ahead and check. You know, the mainstream is giving you the winds way up at 30,000 feet. They're not giving you the surface winds whatsoever. So right now, we're, you know, maybe what, 50 miles or so from the hurricane. We have a 45.1 knots in wind. What is that, like 50 miles an hour? I'd have to look it up. I lost my little conversion chart, but it's not much. We could always, let's check the history on it. And I don't know why I just don't pop up the actual history. Like, it's not giving me like the, you know, the last week or the last 4 days. All right, let me just get out of that. We'll go ahead and jump out of that. Now here's another kind of interesting thing. The NASA, the advanced webinar. So they're going to hold this webinar for land cover applications. And they're wanting to analyze data from the Google Earth engine to generate soil moisture analysis, identify different types of crops. And also, you know, we've been exposing how they're trying to map every single cave, at least in Missouri. I mean, I know they got the cave challenges going on. Let me get a drink here. Now this come out of Zero Hedge. This is back on 8/31/20. Oh, that's a couple of days ago. Artificial hurricanes manufactured by the deep state enterprise. You know, I'm really not going to get into this one, but at least they got some of the proof of the geoengineering assessing the implications of large-scale climate intervention. See, they're not calling it what it really is. Well, it is climate intervention, but you know, they call it global warming. They call it climate change. They are the ones responsible. Now, here's an article that come out. I think this is before it's news. And he pretty much tells you down. It's got a couple of our videos on here, a couple other people's videos. But right here, he pretty much tells you who it is. The New World Order of Disaster Capitalism, the global network of oligarchs, internationalists in business, crime, war, profit through international banking, money laundering networks in profiting. They have no allegiance to the sovereignty of the United States or any particular country. This is the appeal of the so-called New World Order under the United Nations Agenda 21. Climate change is designed to unite the world population into a greater cause in the Constitution of the United States. For example, the gun grab psyops. They're connected to the UN mandate, the UNODA, designed to undermine the Second First Amendment. Silicon Valley is developing a Chinese-style social credit system for the U.S., while Google and Facebook are increasingly censoring protected First Amendment speech. MSLSD is doing the same thing. It's all connected to the New World Order oligarch control of the United Nations. It's a key term, the administrative state, where U.S. policy is developed by corporations with international ties and networks. This is a public-private partnership where taxpayers foot the bill for foreign interference. There's a book, The Rise of Disaster Capitalism. You know, that's why we got all the gun grabs and the gun psyops going on. And manipulation of the weather and the climate is another international profit crime where commodities can be traded when a select few foreknowledge of the hurricanes, the fires, the floods, planetary weapons, military weather modification, chemtrails, atmospheric geoengineering, environmental warfare. Now, I believe all that. That's what it is. It's the technocrats. So, you know, when you think about a devastating man-made hurricane, you know, you got FEMA there beforehand. You got all these 5G companies ready to come in, take out all the old equipment after it gets torn down. They're going to put in all new 5G. The 5G is the kill shot. That's the internet of everything. That's where we're going to all be connected and all that. So, but what they're telling people here, they're telling you to buy like masks and stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of this dust in the storm, which we don't know what all's in the dust, but you know, you can search all these articles. Here's a shot of inside the eye wall with a plane. You know, it's must not be affected by the microwaves, but it's in there. But nobody else is allowed to go into the eye of the hurricane. You may get fried, like, you know, like nuclear fried. So let me close a couple of these out. Here's the mimic map. Now you get stitching errors sometimes on this, which we know what them are. And here again, we got all these tropical cyclones and hurricanes out here. You could see that this hurricane, it's not even a hurricane, is twice as big as Dorian already. And it's going to maybe be a cat too. Then the Sahara dust is going to blow it apart. You know, they want us all in the stack 'em pack 'em houses. They want everybody off the coast. You know, if climate change was real, if rising sea levels was real, why are they still selling beachfront property? Why? You know, it doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you know, something's up. So here's Hurricane Dorian now. We got the, you know, HARP space-based weaponry shooting into it, and we have it parked. It's just parked. It just kind of like they're just holding it there. You know, they're probably trying to, the normal natural weather systems are probably putting a dent into the target, so they're coming up with a plan B. This is a chess game, ladies and gentlemen, and we're the pawns. Got Hurricane Michael here. Yeah, go back and watch my videos from Hurricane Michael. So, you know, we know the farmers were attacked here in the Midwest and other states. You know, at least 14 states, the farmers were affected by the man-made floods. I showed in the beginning the atmospheric steering. So there's a grant program now that gives communities a boost. You know what, though? The farmers are not going to see a dime of this money. You know, I've already covered this before. All the money is going to go to the big corporations, the Monsantos, the GMO seeds, stuff like that. It's never going to reach the farmers. Here's another thing kind of going on. This come out the 26th of 2012. The Department of Homeland Security forced to release list of keywords used to monitor social networking sites. So if you haven't seen this, you can Google this thing and look at all the words. And this is how we get screwed with on Facebook. I mean, we need the new version of this, but when you see a lot of this, I see tons of the words that I have to use all the time. And that's what gets my videos flagged, hidden, shadow banned, took off. You know, I made a video a long time ago on the rape epidemic that was going on in France when they started the invasion. The video got 2 million views, and they hid it, blocked it, you know, demonetized it. It just screwed with me like big time. All because I said certain words, but I was speaking the truth. Let me get rid of some of this stuff so we can start getting into the maps. All right, so let's just check the worldview map. Tomorrow night we're going to do a little live show of the health conference that I do on Tuesday nights, the conference call, but we're going to probably do it as a video, a live video tomorrow. That'll be pretty early. I think we do that at 6 or 7 tomorrow, and then we'll go into the weather warfare after that call or the show. And tomorrow night I'm going to try to cover the rest of the United States or the rest of the world. I haven't had a lot of time with all this madness going on with Dorian, but we can still see that they're loading the sky up with the aerosols. Why it's parked here. Look, mega spraying here, mega spraying here. That's what's parking it. It's like a, man, I don't even know what to call it, but they're keeping it parked right here. And it looks like the end goal is going to be way up here by Boston. You know, it's going to go on up because the Gulf of Maine is getting hammered. You got the Freemason symbol up there and the aerosols, but here's where the biggest aerosols are being deployed. This is what's going to pull all this moisture. Excuse me here. Hold on. Had to burn some firewood crap today, or trash, and I breathed a bunch of that crap. So, yeah, Gulf of Maine, marine protected area, all being sprayed by chemtrails. So, yeah, that's just some crazy stuff. I'm probably going to go over Looks like it's pretty much light spraying. We're kind of in a break. A bunch of spraying going on up in Canada, up in Alaska. You got to remember, all this weather is going to go on over here to Europe. They get hammered just like we do. The Netherlands, they get bombarded all the time. Australia, China, Russia, they all get it. So let me go ahead and jump out of this. Let's go ahead and maybe get into some of the storm tracks and all that stuff. I'm trying to get rid of all these tabs that I don't need. Okay, there we go. So look at that thing, man. That thing is not normal whatsoever. And I want to change this. I want to see something. I want to check this out in that while that's loading. Let's go ahead and go over here and check the winds again. We checked the buoy, you know, over there. So what are we looking at now? So we're still looking at southwest at 105 knots, and that's at 850 millibars. That's about 5,000 foot up. And at the surface, we're looking at 76 knots. So it definitely has dropped down a little bit, but still, you know, they lied a lot about the winds till it got their target. Right now, we're looking at the mean sea level pressures. Here's Hurricane Julian. Here's Dorian. Got the high pressure here. How come there's not a high pressure like all the way down here holding it in? How come there's not a high pressure down here holding it in? You know, none of this stuff makes sense. You got a little high pressure there. Yeah, there's no high pressure holding this in place. It's all way over here. It's all way over here. So what's holding this storm where it currently sits? Well, that would be the orbital HARP and maybe the ground base too. Now let's go ahead and check the ocean wave heights right now. Right now we're looking at 31-foot waves. Let's go check Julian. 27-foot waves. This isn't even a hurricane yet, and it's already producing 27-foot waves. We got a weird event going on down here with 41.5-foot waves. All right, these wind models are accurate. I know people say, oh, your wind models are flawed. No, they're not. They're really accurate, especially 6 hours. After these process for like 6 hours, these things are coming directly from the data buoys. They're very accurate. Let's go ahead and check the sea surface temperature. Oh, so you know what they're doing? I can tell you right now. All the water has cooled down over here off the coast of Florida. But what is this little heating event right here? We have another heating event. Let's look at the anomalies. Yeah, look at it. It's starting to grow. That's where they want to pull the hurricane. You get it back on the temperatures. You know, here's the heat for sure. And we see over here where the other hurricanes are, they actually have heat to work with. So they're lying about the temperatures of the ocean. And like I said, we got the anomalies up here. Look at the anomaly that's just slowly coming out of the Arctic, drifting down, man. It's really got low. So this hurricane over here is going to probably develop pretty quick into that category 2, and it's a lot bigger than Dorian, but it's most likely not going to hit anything. I wanted to check the currents while we're here. Yeah, I mean, I hate to break the news to you, but like, if you know, I know a lot of people like Trump and all that, but all the people are not voted in, they're placed in. You know, he's a good president for the patriots because they like what he says, but behind closed doors, man, they all work together. You know, he used to be a Democrat. I usually don't get political, but he's part of the elite. You know, that's why he's rolling out the 5G, man. The 5G is a kill shot. All right, let's go ahead and get up into the winds. And what I want to check is the polar vortex winds. These are the winds way up above the stratosphere. Whoa, we got some weird stuff going on down here. Look at this, is like a wave weapon. So yeah, this is starting to get pretty crazy. Let me check the temperatures real quick, see if we still have a compression event going on here. So, oh wow. So we still have a major heating event over here. I mean, that's crazy right there. That's kind of like the one where they moved the polar vortex. So we have some extreme cold heading up. It's over South America, man, down there. You got, you know, a heating event going over New Zealand. Whoa. What's weird right here? I don't know if you guys can see this, but look at this ring and another ring and another ring. There's a big ring right here. What is that about? That's actually showing hotter temperatures, like it's a huge focus beam right there. I want to go ahead and check the humidity and all this stuff. Oh, I'm on the what is going, oh, that's because we're up at 10 HPAs. Okay, hold on, let me get back down to the surface. So here's the surface temperatures. So all the hot is way over here. You can see just a little bit of heating. I mean, hardly anything right here. Oh, this is the humidity. Sorry, I thought I was on the temperature still. That's why it looked so weird. Okay, so basically, there we go. Now we're on Fahrenheit. So it looks like it's around 81 Fahrenheit over here. Check out the 3-hour precipitation forecast. So what it's saying is 3.25 inches of rain every 3 hours. Let's bump this up a day. Ooh, it looks like it's dying down. 2.48 inches for 3 hours. Let's go up another day. 2.70 inches an hour. Now we're gonna have to see if this thing's gonna speed up, man. If that's the case, it's not gonna be much of nothing. 2-3 inches of rain every few hours, that's nothing, man. Here in Missouri, we've been getting 6 to 8 inches of rain every 30 minutes. Let's look at the energy. Where the hell's all the energy for this storm? So that little bit of energy right there is creating this monster. Look, you can see this one here. Hurricane Juliet is wrapped up with some energy. There's no signs of anything wrapping into this storm. Here's more proof. Oh wait, might be my bad. I'm fast forward. No, it's still right. Look, there's still no energy really around the storm. It's in where there's no energy. So how can it be strengthening at all? Now look at this hurricane. This is a normal hurricane, Juliet. It's wrapped in energy. Yeah, the sounding rockets, man, there's more in them sounding rockets than what they say. So right here, here's more evidence there should be a hurricane there. It's a weapon. Like I said, we showed the pressures. That's the misery index. All right, let me get back over the winds. Let's go ahead and check the jet stream. So here's our jet stream. So why is these winds should be pushing the hurricane out? Here's the jet stream winds. Let me zoom in on this. We got jet stream winds should be pushing the hurricane out to the west. So why is it stuck here? It doesn't make sense. But you know what does make sense? Where that heating anomaly is up here. What did we just say caused hurricanes? The heat. We have a heat anomaly right here splitting the jet stream apart. These winds are fighting against each other. In fact, let's go down to the vortice layer, the scalar field. What kind of winds are we looking at right here? We're looking at 86 mile an hour winds, so it's actually a little better than what they were reporting yesterday, 94. Let's go on down to the 850 and see how accurate the buoys were. 95, 114, 97. Let's go on down to the surface. Wow, they really picked this thing up, man. We got 90, 80 and 90 mile an hour. Here's 102 mile an hour winds. So they're just sitting here. They have like a F4 tornado parked over Bermuda, just wiping it clean. They must be getting ready to build some infrastructure there. While I'm here, let's just go ahead and see where the path takes it. So we're going to be really right off the coast. It looks like the really strong winds are out here pretty far. 97, 108, 81. They're almost going back into normal hurricane speeds. Let's see if we can go up another day. So that's, looks like that might be where it's hitting. That's where all the aerosols were being deployed yesterday. And then it really dies down once it hits the land. Whoa, little freak out there. Can we go up another day? Yeah, look at that. So interesting. Isn't that interesting that this thing is going up right where I showed you all the aerosols are being deployed? It's like clockwork. So it's like clockwork. Look, the exact path of the aerosols. You know, we already know this was sprayed yesterday. It was heavily sprayed right here, and now look, this is where they want it to go. This is the steering mechanism. There would not be this many planes out here laying these planes at all. So anyway, yeah, crazy stuff here. All right, let's go ahead and check out the forecast models and just see what they're saying. We could go check all the spaghetti noodle models and all that. Let's just see what the GFS there, where it's taking it. It's pretty much staying off the coast right there. It's right at the edge. Yeah, it's going to hit South Carolina, the Carolinas. Heavy rain here for Friday, September 6th. So that's going to be a mega flood event if it holds there. Let's go ahead and check the total precipitation models just to see what it's saying here. So this will give us a good idea what kind of rain you guys are expecting here. So right there we're looking, you know, between, looks like about 16 to 20 inches in the yellows. Now it's going to die down, so the rain's not too heavy there. You know, you're looking at maybe 9 inches, 8 to 9 inches of rain. So it's really died down, guys. So if we can make it through the weather weapon here on Thursday the 5th, if this holds true right there on the coast of Georgia there, you're looking maybe 10 to 12 inches. Not like they were calling for. Let's check the Canadian model to see what it says. So the Canadian model, it shows it in millimeters. So right there, it's pretty much holding true to the GFS model. But I mean, this is a weapon, so who knows? But at least by the models, you know, you're not looking at, you're not into the purples here. It's dying down. Maybe they're going to shut the weather machine down. We'll just have to see. Anyway, want to really send out some thanks out there to High Impact Vlogs and High Impact Fix and oh man, what was all the other channels? Anyway, all the other channels out there. Sorry, I couldn't remember your name. I didn't write them down, but thanks for sending people this way. I mean, the more people that are aware of what's going on, you know, we can maybe put an end to it or force them into something, some kind of regulations. We need to take back our weather. Now, just like the chemtrails, I don't know if you guys have seen this clip, but we have NASA admitting that they're doing different mixes in the chemtrails. Here, let's play a clip.
So you just mentioned contrails. So how do the contrails affect or have an impact on the climate?
Right. Well, contrails have a huge impact on climate. And so, in fact, some of the recent modeling work that has come out of DLR suggests that contrails today, just the ones that we're able to see up in the sky, maybe today, this week, this month, have a larger impact on Earth's climate than all of the carbon dioxide emitted by aircraft since the first powered airplane flight. So that's a huge effect. And so even as CO2 accumulates, greenhouse gases accumulate in the atmosphere, the impact of these contrails trapping heat and reflecting sunlight back into space is having a huge effect on the Earth's energy balance. And so
that's right, ladies and gentlemen, they're dumping more particles this week than all of the aviation since the very first plane. That's why our skies are so toxic. That's why we're all have a chest infection. That's why we're all sick. That's why all the plants and the trees and the bugs are dying. Let's get into this a little bit deeper.
And I'm interested in understanding how aerosols or particles that are emitted by jet engines in the atmosphere go on to evolve in the atmosphere and then also influence their ability to form the contrails.
So there you go, guys. Right there, they're admitting that the aircraft today, this week, this month, are emitting more particles into the air than all of the aviation since the very first flight. That is the climate change. Anyway, guys, we're going to stop it right here. Don't forget to join us tonight. Much love out there. Thanks to all the channels helping this channel grow. Much love to you guys. You don't know how much it means to help in the fight of the truth, the fight of the weather warfare that's going on. It's been going on. Check out weathermodificationhistory.com. Go to the newspaper articles, read them, you know, get all the information you can. It's an information war. Why we can still do it. We need to awake the masses. Anyway, guys, much love. Yeah, McAllister TV, thanks out there for shouting us out and all that. Before It's News there, the guys over there, and everybody else out there. I mean, we're all in this together. This is our air. This is our planet, God's planet. And they're ruining it. They're ruining everything to bring in this new world order. See if they get this 5G in, guys, we're not going to be able to fight this stuff. There will be no control. They're already brainwashing our kids and our grandkids. Like we are Generation X. We're the last ones to be able to take care of this. So armor up, no fear. Pray for the people affected by this storm. Much love, peace, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to play a song called Rise. We got to rise. Damn it, we're running out of time. Anyway, here we go. Turn it up.